All right, Shalom. I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect. I'm back with another quick lesson through the Holy Spirit, the Rakak Wadash. And we are not ignorant of Satan's devices. Exposed. Alligator Alcatraz concentration camp packed with innocents. You see that? We told you.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about this alligator Alcatraz thing. As you know, it's just a concentration camp. That's what it is. It is a concentration camp. When you send people there with no due process whatsoever, you put a tent camp in the middle of a swamp in the middle of hurricane season in southern Florida, you are just begging for trouble. And the Miami Herald just reported that hundreds of people who have been sent there already, hundreds, no criminal record whatsoever.
Boom. And we've been saying this through the Spirit, man. Here's the article here from the Miami Herald. It says exclusive, hundreds at Alligator Alcatraz have no criminal charges. You see that? So this thing was way bigger, as I was telling you. This is way bigger than, the so-called migrant detainees, man. Okay? This is about rounding up everybody. Okay? Because what made me think about this is that comment that Tim Waltz made about Trump. He said Trump is setting up a Gestapo. Let's go back to that definition. Right? So this is from Britannica. It says Gestapo, the political police of Nazi Germany. It says the Gestapo ruthlessly eliminated opposition to the Nazis within Germany and its occupied territories, and in partnership with the, I can't pronounce that name, so-called security service, was responsible for the roundup of Jays throughout Europe for deportation to extermination camps. You see that? So this is actually happening. Okay? People without criminal records are being rounded up and sent to these FEMA camps, man. Right? As we said through the Spirit. Okay? See, Trump, he can use this to deem anybody that's a threat to his administration, to this so-called American system. They could just send anybody to these particular camps. Okay? Because we're in that time of what? Of heavy persecution. Okay? So this is the Spirit, man. But again, these devils ain't slick, right? Hundreds at Alligator Alcatraz have no criminal charges. Miami Herald learns. It says hundreds of immigrants with no criminal charges in the United States are being held at Alligator Alcatraz, a detention facility state and federal officers have characterized as a place where vicious and deranged psychopaths are sent before they are deported, right? And really the vicious and deranged psychopaths are the people that's running those camps. Okay? It says are sent before they get deported. Records obtained by the Miami Herald Tampa Bay Times show. It says mixed among the detainees accused and convicted of crimes are more than 250 people who are listed as having only immigration violations but no criminal convictions or pending charges in the United States. You see? So they could just send, again, they could send whoever the hell they want, man. Anybody they don't like, anybody, that's coming against this administration or system. Maybe something you posted on the internet, a video you made, And it's all spiritual, man. It says the data is based on a list of more than 700 people who are either being held under tents and in chain link cells at Florida's pop-up detention center in the Everglades, or appear slated for transfer there. You see? Real quick. This is Proverbs 28:15. It says, as a roaring lion and a raging bear, so is a wicked ruler over the people, man. And that's this Edomite Trump, man. Okay? This man is like he's on a rampage, as I said before. A roaring lion, a raging bear. Okay? And they're talking about opening more camps all across America, man, for this same purpose here. Again, it's bigger than immigration, man. It's about, detaining the so-called American people, man. You see?
So they're doing here the exact same thing they did with CCOT, which is the concentration camp in El Salvador. They're doing here the same thing that they're in the process of doing with Guantanamo Bay. They are rounding up innocent people and sending them to what is effectively a concentration camp. So a bunch of updates to walk you through here. Let's start with this one. Here's
and I played this. This is the video I played yesterday. But see, imagine some type of false flag happening, right? And America gets shut down, and anybody that's speaking otherwise, contrary to the system, right? They can just round people up and send them there, man. Send them to these various camps. But it was all about this the whole time, man. Okay.
Kristi Noem, and listen to what she says.
1,000-bed facility can continue to be expanded. We're looking at other locations as well. We've had several other states that are actually using Alligator Alcatraz as a model for how they can partner with us as well.
What are some of those? Are there other states?
I'm having ongoing conversations with 5 other governors about facilities that they may have. I haven't asked those governors if I can share their names, but announcements will be coming soon. As you all know, we need to double our capacity in detention beds because we need to facilitate getting people out of this country as fast as possible and to sustain our operations. But those governors have been fantastic. I will tell you, they are all Republicans. So I would challenge some Democrats to start taking care of your states.
If you are sleeping in a position,
so this is a real Gustavo. Okay. As we read, okay, it said, what did it say? It said that they ruthlessly eliminated opposition to the Nazis within Germany in its occupied territories and in partnership. All right, as you heard what she said, they're partnering up with these various companies. All right, to forward more of these camps. Okay, these concentration camps. Okay, for deportation to extermination camps, man. All right, so this thing is happening. Isaiah 19:4, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord. All right, it's going back to this administration that's in power, man. And a fierce king shall rule over them. All right, dealing with Trump. Saith the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shah of hosts. All right, so this man is that cruel king, that cruel Lord.
So I warned you this was going to happen, but now it's official. There are 5 more Alligator Alcatraz type facilities that are in the process of being built. 5 more. So they are expanding this project of throwing innocent people into concentration camps, and they're doing it all across the country. Let me give you this. So we have ICE raids in suburbia in West Jordan, Utah.
Jesus, what the fuck is happening?
This is ICE walking down my street. There's got to be 50 of them? What the fuck is going on here? Holy shit.
This person says, classic fascist regime blunder. You're not supposed to let the middle-class suburbanites witness the horror so close. More. Detained immigrants at Alligator Alcatraz say there are worms in food and wastewater on the floor. At the brand new Everglades Immigration Detention Center that officials have dubbed Alligator Alcatraz, people held there say worms turned up in the food, toilets don't flush, flooding floors with fecal waste, and mosquitoes and other insects are everywhere. Inside the compound's large white tents, rows of bunk beds are surrounded by chain link cages. Detainees are said to go days without showering or getting prescription medicine, and they are only able to speak by phone to lawyers and loved ones. At times, the air conditioners abruptly shut off in the sweltering heat. Days after President Donald Trump toured it, attorneys, advocates, detainees, and their relatives are speaking out about the makeshift facility, which Republican Governor Ron DeSantis' administration raced to build on an isolated airstrip surrounded by swampland. So this is a catastrophe. This is a catastrophe what we're witnessing here. Completely and utterly un-American, completely and utterly unconstitutional. Florida is sending undocumented...
Real quick. man. This is this is Psalm 43 verse 1. It says, "Judge me, O power, and plead my cause against an ungodly nation," speaking about you Edomites. You represent that ungodly nation. "Oh, deliver me from the deceitful and unjust men," the Edomite, man. Okay? This is the cruel Lord. Verse 2, "For thou art my power, for thou art the power of my strength. Why doest thou cast me off? Why go I mourning because of the oppression of the enemy," man? So, hey, this is a real Gestapo that's being set up. Okay?
Catastrophe. This is a catastrophe what we're witnessing here. Completely and utterly un-American, completely and utterly unconstitutional. Florida is sending undocumented immigrants pulled over in traffic stops to the Everglades detention camp. But because the whole thing was set up haphazardly, they still don't have an easy way to find out if someone is detained there, like at any normal detention center or jail. This is a nightmare. They pull somebody over, send them to a concentration camp, and there's no paper trail of where they are. So their families have absolutely positively no idea where they are. I don't know if it doesn't get any darker than this, man. This is as dark as it gets. Breaking: judge rules that during its large-scale enforcement operation in LA, the DHS and ICE has been arresting people without probable cause. Oh, you don't say. Based on factors like accent and line of work, she orders the agencies to stop. Yet again, let's see if this very basic ruling from the court is upheld. Because there is a track record of no, it is not being upheld. That the courts will say one thing and the administration will do another. The regime will flagrantly deny what the court has said and go in the opposite direction. All right, here's another. I'm going to give you a warning in advance before we watch this one. This is a horror story involving a disabled veteran who was kidnapped by ICE Gestapo thugs.
Just an extremely emotional scene here. The minute that we arrived outside Glass House Farms, we met a sister and a wife of a man who works as a security guard here, George Redis. He is a disabled U.S. veteran. He is a U.S. citizen, and they are desperately looking for him. They haven't heard anything about his whereabouts from yesterday. They do say that he was taken in the raid. We want to show you a picture of 25-year-old George Redis, a U.S. Army veteran who his family again says is disabled. They saw via Air 7 yesterday that he was trying to leave the scene in his white vehicle. Take a listen to what his sister and then his wife told us.
I thought he was probably part of the protest, and he wasn't. He was trying to reverse his car. They broke his window, they pepper sprayed him, they grabbed him, threw him on the floor, they detained him. His wife's been trying to call and ask where he is. They don't know where he is. Apparently, no one associates with nobody. So now we don't know what to do. We're just asking to let my brother go. He's a U.S. citizen. He didn't do anything wrong. He's a veteran, disabled citizen. It says it on his car.
And I just want to know where he's at because I have not seen him. And I heard from him since yesterday. And I called LA and they keep saying that they're not going over there. And
And notice this was a Jake. All right? But these agents, they don't give a fuck about none of that. All right? And bottom line, the spirit of the Lord is going to have to be with you in these times, man. All right? We told you that these times that were coming were going to get extremely evil. Psalms 59:1. It says, "Deliver me from my enemies, O my power. Defend me from them that rise up against me. Deliver me from the workers of iniquity," all right, you Edomites, "and save me from bloody men. For lo, they lie in wait for my soul. The mighty are gathered against me. Not for my transgression, nor for my sin, O Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai. They run and prepare themselves without my fault. Awake to help me, and behold." It says, "Therefore, thou therefore, O Lord, power, Yahweh Shem Yahushai of hosts, the power of Israel, awake to visit all the heathen. Be not merciful to any wicked transgressor, Salah. They return at evening. They make a noise like a dog and go around about the city." All right, this is what's going on right now, man. They're snatching people up everywhere, man. "Behold, they belch out with their mouth. Swords are in their lips. For who say they, 'Doeth here'?" You see?
I just don't know where he's at. I've been up since 6 a.m. trying to call the sheriffs, the police department, Oxnard, Camarillo, Ventura, and I can't hear nothing. They say they don't know, they don't associate.
And as you heard from George Redis's wife, it's his daughter's birthday party tomorrow. She is desperately looking for George. She says that she has called every local police department, the sheriff's department. They don't know where he is, and so that's why the family is camped out here right now trying to find answers.
Salakia, I'll go back. But I was thinking about limitations, what, 4? All right, limitations 4 and 18, it says they hunt our steps, that we cannot go on our streets. Okay, look how this is playing out right now, man. They hunt our steps that we cannot go on our streets. Our end is near. Our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. Our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of heaven. They have pursued us upon the mountains, and they laid wait for us in the wilderness, man. You see? So these devils are out on the hunt, man. Going after who? Jake. Right?
Find answers.
It's just evil. If this guy's not safe, nobody's safe. He's a disabled veteran U.S. citizen, and he was kidnapped by ICE Gestapo thugs. Nobody knows where he is. Missed his kid's birthday. Nobody's safe. If this guy's not safe, nobody's safe. This is like a true. It's like evil overtaking the country in real time, and there is no reckoning with the harm, the devastation, the damage that they're doing. Because in their mind, the regime goes, well, all these people were doing this to were just bad people. Oh, a bunch of them have, the majority of them, 90% of them have no criminal record? We don't care. We don't care. Oh, a bunch of them are legal immigrants? We don't care. Oh, some of them are U.S. citizens? We don't care. Hundreds of innocent people already. You had some politicians go to Alligator Alcatraz, and there were a bunch of people screaming out, I'm a U.S. citizen. Here, let's watch some more.
People are literally being poisoned with Clorox in Alligator Alcatraz. I told y'all earlier that Democratic Representative Maxwell Frost was pulling up to Alligator Alcatraz to inspect the concentration camp that's there. Here's what they found.
You know, when I was in that facility looking at those cages, I saw young men who looked exactly like me. I saw myself in those cages.
Some of the people screaming. Another man screamed out that he was poisoned by Clorox in the water, and he was in the hospital for 4 days. There are really disturbing, vile conditions. This place needs to be shut the hell down. While we were in there, at one point it was clocked at about 81 degrees in a particular spot, and I know for a fact if you continue to go in, it is even hotter.
Is there read a statement from the wife of a detainee regarding the scheduled tour from his pastor to me yesterday? His wife says they allowed him to take a shower and gave them new clothes, and the food all of a sudden is better. I wonder how long that's going to last after your visit.
And also, I want to point out that we don't need to debate the conditions. The fact is there are people there that most likely do not belong there.
Facts.
And that is enough.
As a member of the House Oversight Committee, I can tell you after this, I have many phone calls planned with my colleagues to talk about coming down here, possibly holding ad hoc hearings about this facility, and not just facility. This is indicative of a greater problem, too, across this country.
Right.
Dehumanizing immigrants, dehumanizing people who are in this country, who have been in this country, many of whom over a decade. So there will be hearings and there will be accountability on this at the federal level. And of course, I know our state partners are going to work on it as well.
Not to mention, Maxwell Frost was on a call with NABJ journalist Michael Jones, where he said detainees are being held 32 to a cage, drinking water from toilet spigots, and fed only a sandwich and chips. People were yelling, "Help me." One even shouted, "I'm a U.S. citizen." He also said that the staff blocked access to the medical unit and denied him contact with the detainees that were there. They're trying to hide the inhumane treatment of the people there. And here's the thing. If you think they're going to fucking stop at immigrants, like we've been fucking saying, you got some other shit coming.
Hey, that's the spirit. Told you. But we know that the majority of these people that are detained are Jake. All right? Evils and only evils to come in. We warned you through the spirit, man. This shit was going to get ugly, and it's happening. Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 4, and these are the words that the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus, for thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Washai, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now and see whether a man doeth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. All right, it's terrible times that's going on right now, especially down in those camps. Okay. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. All right, we're in that time.
Here comes Donald Trump saying the quiet part out loud. Because of the fact that Rosie O'Donnell, who by the way is a United States citizen, is not in the best interest of our great country, meaning she just fucking is critical of his ass because his ass is a fucking bitch. I'm giving serious consideration to taking away her citizenship. She is a threat to humanity and should remain in the wonderful country of Ireland if they want her. God bless America. Now, let's be clear. This is a fucking distraction for us to talk about this and how fucking crazy it is over the Epstein case, which motherfucker we not stopping to talk about. But best believe this is actually how he thinks. Anybody who disagrees with him, if you're a political dissident, if you are anti-MAGA, if you are critical of his administration, he wants to put you in alligator Alcatraz so you can be treated exactly, inhumanely, how they're treating those.
That's exactly what I said. See? Everybody sees it. This is a real Gestapo. Those that are a threat to the system, you know, opposition against Trump and his administration, or whatever they got going on, the elites, the small hats, all right? They plan on sending people to these camps. To these camps. That's what it's all about. That was the whole purpose, the true purpose of it the whole time. See? Exposed.
Immigrants that are right there right now. And in some cases, they're actually U.S. citizens right now. Wake the fuck up.
I don't know how this doesn't wake people. Like, if you're not woken up by now, when are you going to wake up? When are you going to wake up?
Facts.
I mean, the media should be screaming at the top of their lungs. The Democrats should be screaming at the top of their lungs. But there's almost like this passive acceptance of this new concentration camp system where innocent people are being rounded up and thrown in there with no concern for them whatsoever. Terribly inhumane conditions. Courts being ignored. Like, that could literally be any one of us. And I don't think people have truly, truly grasped that point. That could actually be any one of us at any time. So wake up, because more of them being created. The conditions of the one that are already up and running are horrific. As I said, Miami Herald reported hundreds of U.S. citizens there. 92% of the people ICE go after, no criminal record whatsoever. This is the time for a serious awakening and backlash in this country. I also have this one for you. ICE plans to deport migrants to countries where they are not citizens and do not speak the language with as little as 6 hours notice. Wow. So again, this is something that, you know, a decade ago, nobody would even think of, right? Like, this wouldn't even come up. This level of cruelty and inhumanity wouldn't pass your mind. You wouldn't think this is a thing. You wouldn't think this is an option on the menu. But now, it's, yeah, maybe we'll send you to a country that you've never been before, ever. Don't speak the language, and we'll do it within 6 hours. And you won't be able to talk to your family. You won't be able to talk to a lawyer. You'll be completely and utterly on your own. Maybe we'll do that. Like I said, this is the fact that this is not the main thing everybody's talking about is despicable and disturbing and disgusting. Because all those people being treated like this, that could literally be any one of us. And it is. At this point, it is. They're going after U.S. citizens. They're going after legal immigrants. They're going after undocumented immigrants who are not criminals. And they're not going to stop. They're only going to ramp it up. And like Brian Byatt...
You're going after Jake. That's what it's about. So-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, and Hispanics. You're the target.
As said, if you think it's going to stop where it has already, you got another thing coming. You know, harsh critics, for sure. ICE can go after harsh critics. And how can you clear your name? If there's no hearing, there's no habeas corpus, there's no due process.
Yeah, so essentially they're going to come after the prophets. All right? They got all the content, the videos, the things that we talk about, things that we post, right? That's what it's about, man. Okay? This is the time.
They're wearing masks when they arrest you. They've basically set up a system where there's zero accountability, zero justice, zero consequences, zero legal process where there's oversight, where there's checks and balances. You're at the whim of a fascist regime. And that's where we are. Hey, y'all, do me a favor.
There you go. All right. Ezekiel 3. Hey, because the sword, the sword is being furbished and made ready, man. All right. Ezekiel 3:17, it says, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me. Okay? This is the warning here, man. Right? It's about to get fucking ugly out here, man. Brutal. Psalm 17 in verse 13. Arise, O Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, disappoint him. Cast him down. Deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. All right? The sword is coming. Shalom.